Welcome everybody to the TCM Post-Store Championship podcast, stream, viewing. Interview. Good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Profile.
Deck profile. That's the other one.
That's the other one.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of things today.
Yeah.
As always, I am TCM the Visionary. Here
And
with me
I'm
is...
TCM the Wise Man.
Oh, that's ironic.
Hey, all right. Store championship winner.
Yeah, Store Championship winner. That's why we are here. So what did you play for Store Championship?
For Store Championship, I chose a deck that has kind of gotten bullied out of the meta by Purple and L.
Okay.
It has an auto-lose matchup into Lucy, which I somehow managed to pull out in the end. So that felt good. Red Blue Ace. Red Blue Ace is a strong deck. It just has a very solid core of Whitebeard Pirates cards that can kind of grind games out. You have a little bit of control. You have a little bit of aggro. Yeah, I mean, the deck ended up winning me the day.
All right. So before we get into matchups and how the Store Championship went, let's go over the cards. And, most people should know what the cards do.
Yeah, they've been seeing Ace for 3 metas now,
Yeah, 3
so
metas.
everybody should be pretty familiar. Ace has been a pretty hated deck for 3 metas because it's been very powerful. We just start with typical 1-drops, Searchers. Garp and Ezo, every deck runs 4. Garp is going to be able to pretty much find everything in your deck that's relevant, and Ezo is going to be able to find any Whitebeard Pirate cards that are relevant. You're using those to try and search for your 10 beards, your I am Whitebeards if you don't get lucky and see them. Meanwhile, you're using your Garps to pick up your Boas, your Zoros. If you need the Uda 2K. Roger. It's going to get your Roger because Ezo. A lot of times, first search on Ezo, cool. Roger's at the bottom of the deck. Awesome. This game's going to go great. After that, we move into Otama, standard 2K. If you have to play it, it's still going to give you a card. It's going to let you dig into your deck. You can always bounce it back later with Jozu. Whitey Bay, that's my own personal tech because there's not a lot of really good Whitebeard Pirate searchable 2Ks. A lot of people are on Kingdu, which is a 4-drop that on your turn you can reveal 2 Whitebeard Pirates. It goes to a 6K. I don't think it's very relevant. You're never going to play that card in almost any situation, so I would rather just have the Whitey Bay that can potentially give my leader plus 2,000 attack for the turn. And once again, it's just bounceable back to hand by Jozu, so you can play it out, give your leader 2K, play the Jozu, bounce the Whitey Bay back to hand, your 2K's back in hand, your leader's going to swing for 8, so it's not bad.
Okay.
Then we move into standard Marco. I'm on 3. This used to be one of the best cards in the deck. In theory, it's still a very good card. It's seeing a little bit less relevancy in the deck just because there's so much easy removal for a 4-drop between just resting and freezing, bottom decking, sending it back to hand. So Marco, it's not really a bait card, but it's lost a little bit of its luster.
Okay.
Then we move into Atmos, standard 4-drop, reveal 2 Whitebeard Pirates, return a 4-drop to hand. It's great against Lucy, which is our auto-lose matchup. So I guess it's not that great, but it's still a good card. Sending Cavendishes back to hand. It's good in the mirror. Sending Marcos back to hand.
Yep.
It's solid into the Enel matchup. It's going to be able to send the Ohms and the Pudding. I mean, not that you necessarily want to send a Pudding. It sends the Holly back to hand. So that card does work. Cavendish, the other 4-drop, has crept into the deck for the last 2 metas.
Yep.
This card can just single-handedly win you games. If they don't have an answer for it and you can keep it on the board, then Cavendish basically is just swinging and getting you value every turn. Draw 2, trash 1 is a very powerful effect for Ace. We move into the 5, Yamato. Maybe the best card in the deck now because Yamato is just pay 5 Dawn, get immediate impact with 2 cards in hand, add a Dawn to leader. Your leader effect's going to be active the following turn. Yamato's a great card. We move into the 6s. We got Jozu. Still one of the top cards in the deck. Jozu simply just play out a 6/7, and on play, bounce a card back to hand. Typically, you want to bounce a Searcher like Garp, Ezo. If you happen to play one of these 2Ks earlier on and they were still on the board, you can bounce one of those back to hand, and then get rid of one of your opponent's 6-drops, 6 or less. So you can get rid of really annoying cards like Marco. You can send Cavendishes back to hand. You can send blockers back to hand. It's an all-around great card. You got your Uda. Your Uda standard 2K. Most of the time, you're never really searching for Uda off a Garp, but if you have to take one, you take one. It's a 2K. The big play for that is just using it off of I Am Whitebeard. So you're on 10 Don, you I Am Whitebeard, you play out your blocker Newgate, and you drop the Uda for 2 Don. Now you got 2 blockers. The new card from the new set, the Zoro, very powerful card. 7 Don, on play, your leader's an 8K. Once per turn, activate main, give it character rush if your opponent has 8,000 power or more on the board. Okay. Most decks in the game now are, the way that One Piece has gone lately, most decks in the game now are going to have an 8K power on board by the turn you play this. Looking at Anels, Lucy's, Nami's.
Yep.
They're all going to have a big beater on the board, so most of the time this card will have rush. If it doesn't get character rush, it's not a huge deal. You're still an 8K leader, and you're an 8K leader with a great leader effect. It's going to save you some hits. Boa. This card came in this set after rotation. We needed something to replace Red Rock. Red Rock was one of the most powerful cards in the deck. Losing access to Red Rock hurt, but Boa is a really good substitute. Boa, pay it for 6, and completely negate somebody for the turn. Just say, cool, you're an L's frozen, can't attack. Meanwhile, bottom deck one of your 1-drops. It's very good in the Enel matchup. This card wins you the Enel matchup if you see both of them. Some decks run 3, I run 2. If you see it, that card can single-handedly just win you the game. In a pinch, if you really want to, you can even bounce it back to hand with Jozu to play it again later.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yep.
That's gross. Yeah.
So you just, you're on that turn, you don't see your second Boa, you swing for 8, play the Jozu, bounce the Boa back to hand, then you have the Boa that you can play again next turn. You're going to clear one of the annoying 1-drops, which against Enel, their 1-drops still swing for 6. Very good card. After that, we're going to kind of get into the high end. Roger, obviously, is your game winner. This just ends the game. You want to try to set either yourself going to 0 or your opponent going to 0. Nobody can declare blocker. Roger's been around for a long time. Everybody should know what it does.
Correct.
It just wins games. We have our standard, most decks run it, one of Taxbeard. Taxbeard, another titan of a card that can just win you games on the spot because opponent blows their whole hand out countering out, but they got a full board up and they're sitting on 2 or 3 cards. You can just take a whole turn off, pay 10, drop the Taxbeard.
Yeah, because they're not going to give you the cards out of their hand for
now,
1, maybe 2 attacks.
At most, they're going to get their leader swing and then maybe 1 character swing.
Yep.
It's going to buy you a turn, and then it just gives you another 12K swinger on the follow-up turn if you have your Roger in hand or you top deck your Roger. This is the tech that I started teching in.
I kind of want to save that one for last.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's save that one for last because that one's the...
Other than that, we have our standard 10-drop Newgate, which is Blocker Beard, as he's known. On play, draw 2 cards, trash a card, give 2 Don to a leader and character. It can, you got a Garp on board. You can I Am Whitebeard this out for 8, play it, attach 2 Don to the Garp, attach another 2 Don to the Garp. Now all of a sudden you have a 6K swinger. You got 8K with your leader plus whatever else you got on board. So it's definitely one of the best cards in the deck. It's the card that everybody hates. They just know you get to 8 Don that you're going to I Am Whitebeard out one of these.
And it's the best SP in the game.
And it's one of the best SPs that's ever been printed. It's a very pretty card. Speaking of, I Am Whitebeard, our events. This deck is not very event heavy. We used to be a little more event heavy, but we still are on our standard 4 of I Am Whitebeard, 8 Don, play out a Newgate from your hand, so it lets you play out the 10 Beard, lets you play out the Tax Beard. In previous metas, it lets you play out the 9 Beard, and the one kind of thing that you have to calculate in your head with this card, though, is it does give you the option to rip a life, to give your leader plus 2,000 to your next turn. Knowing when to use that effect can really turn the tide in some matchups. Because there's a lot of times in the current format where you will be I Am Whitebearding out on 8, You're going to play your Newgate, and you already know your Newgate's gone that turn. There's multiple decks in the format that can just... Cool, you got your Newgate on the board. Anel can just, between Elthor, Mamaraga, get rid of it. The Fire Fists from Lucy. So depending on the matchup, you already know this card's gone. As soon as you play it, you're just hoping to get 3 or 4 cards out of your opponent's hand, and it's going to be removed. So if you are healthy by the time you play this card, you can I Am Whitebeard if you're still at 2 or 3 life. I Am Whitebeard, rip a life, your leader goes to 8k, and then this doesn't hurt as much when you lose it because you're still an 8k leader. They have to swing up into you. They just burned a bunch of Dawn, burned cards in hand to try and get rid of it. So it kind of saves you a turn again.
Okay.
So getting to know when to actually use the secondary effect on this card is actually a little bit, it takes a little bit of brain power for the deck. Other than that, we're on Distorted Future. It's the Bonnie event. Personally, I think it's a bad card. I run it because, well, it's in every ace list. It's pretty much the only option we have for negging. Previously, we used Roundtable. Roundtable was a goated card. Just straight minus 10,000 on something, and then even your searchers can swing into it and try to remove a big body.
Right.
Roundtable was great. This is, I guess, technically the closest thing we have to it. It's only -3, but it's still a 3k counter. So 1 Dawn 3k counter is still a good card, a good rate. Most of the time, most matchups, I do end up just using this card as counter power. And that's just, that's the way it goes.
Okay.
Other than that, ace leader, we all know what it does. Trash a card from hand, free 2k. Turn your bricks into 2ks. You'll notice ace doesn't run a lot of 2ks, and he does run a lot of bricks. So being able to turn those into counter power, great. Other than that, the one final card, our special spicy tech, it did help me win a game last night in the mirror, is the new promo ace, or promo shanks, sorry. The new 10-drop promo shanks. So the promo shanks is on play when attacking, your opponent cannot declare blocker for the turn. So this card's very powerful. So if you are in the ace mirror, you're both kind of dirtling around. Your opponent's at 1 life, you're at 1 life. You have blocker beards established. He has blocker beards established. You're just kind of in this waiting game of who's going to swing first.
Yeah,
and who's going to drop who to 0 first, and be able to counter out and then play their Roger and end the game.
Yep.
This card kind of just bypasses that. So I expect to see a lot more aces running a 1-of this card to go with the 1-of Roger. Because, cool, you're at 1 life, I'm at 1 life, we both have boards established. I slap this down for 10. Now you can't declare blocker, and I just swing out on your life. Hopefully you don't have 20k counter power in hand.
Okay, so is there a world where Roger gets cut and you go up to 2 shanks?
I do think that Roger is losing a lot of his usefulness. I mean, Roger's easy to play around. This is not easy to play around.
Correct.
So this card, there's no real play around this card. So if we are in a meta that's very blocker heavy and they already know they need to either keep you at 1 life or they need to save themselves, they need to just keep countering out and protect that 1 life, Roger loses a lot of his usefulness. A lot of ace players will just do the play, take a turn off, play the Roger for 10. Roger's, once again, bow is a card. Cool, you played your Roger for 10. I'm going to stun it on my turn.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not at 0, I still have blockers available, so you're not winning the game off of it. Now I can just play a bow and stun it. Or Lucy is going to Fire Fist it to death, and now your 1 win con is gone.
Yep.
So Roger, while it is super easy to play around, it's still going to have those games that come up and you just automatically win with it.
Correct.
A lot more relevant back when Emu was meta.
Yes.
But with Emu kind of out of the meta, I could see going up to 2 on this. But I think the safe play is to always just kind of stay on 1.
Okay. Looking at the deck list now, knowing what you played against in the store championship, is there anything you would definitely change about your list?
Marco definitely lost a lot of his value, but you can't drop too much on him. I have seen a couple event-heavy ace lists roaming around that look interesting, because once again, ace can also play those cards that Lucy's playing, like Fire Fist and things like that. And the that would be a more control-oriented ace deck, kind of like the old one was with Red Rock. So Fire Fist could be a play. I think in the current meta, the list that I'm running right now here has play into pretty much everything, and you just have to hope that the One Piece gods are shining down upon you and you dodge your bad matchups.
Fair. Or you just play out of your mind.
Or you play out of your mind in your bad matchups and you manage to squeak a win out.
Okay.
Sometimes it happens.
So that's the deck list. You guys can always comment down into the YouTube and we will get the deck list out to you one way or another. So for the store championship,
yes,
let's talk about the matchups.
First round matchup was me versus Blue Yellow Nami. It's a heavily favored matchup. I'm supposed to win that matchup most of the time. I want to say it's like 65% in Ace's favor.
Okay.
I had to play against a very good player, Mike P. Mike P is consistently a top player at the shop. Whenever he comes out to a big tournament, he's always usually top 2. He does really well. So that was probably one of my toughest games of the day. Even in a favorable matchup, it was close. But in the end, Ace is heavily favored in Nami, so that it's kind of inevitable. I do believe in that game. I did end up just winning off the Roger.
Fair.
Round 2 was Purple and L. Purple and L is a closer matchup. Purple and L hasn't completely run Ace out of the meta. Ace has a lot of play into that deck because they do have to waste cards to rest down and get rid of your Marco blockers.
Yep.
If they just L-Thor it, it's KO'd, so you get the card draw anyway. Atmos is a very good card in that matchup. At Sword Championship, I was still playing against the Nil lists that were running Dog. A lot of them are off Dog now. So you don't really have to worry about the double attack. But whenever they would play their Dog, I would just drop the Atmos. Cool, Dog goes back to hand. Now it's just counter power. Go ahead and pitch it. Cool, I don't have to worry about it. Also, I saw all my boas in that game. So that kind of shut the opponent down. He went SEC 6-drop an L. He's trying to swing big. I drop Boa, bottom deck an Ohm, and then freeze the N-L. Now I get another turn to I could take the turn off and establish blockers. I could drop Zoro, go to AK leader, swing. I think one of the turns I did, I Boa'd, and then the following turn drop Zoro to go to AK leader. And then because of his N-L being on the board, it got rushed. I was able to swing into more bodies on his board. It's a really you really have to board control in that matchup. It's a very hard matchup for Ace, but it's very winnable depending on pilot. Round 3 was Ace Mirror. It's a little bit of a running joke. I don't think I've ever lost an Ace Mirror.
Nope.
I just
Roger got him again.
Yeah, so that game was really close. As far as he was kind of mirroring me move for move. I won dice roll. So going second is very important in that matchup, I feel, because if you're the first person that's establishing the cards, then you're going to win the matchup. So for Don, I played Cavendish. He had no answer for the Cavendish when I played it on 4 Dawn, so that card pretty much got to swing the entire game. So for the entire game, I'm swinging 6.
He didn't swing into it?
He swung into it on, I believe, 1 turn. He swung into it, and I countered out to save it.
Okay.
Cavendish is definitely a card that you want to counter out to save. Your Jozu, stuff like that, once they're down, they're down. If somebody swings into it, cool, I'm just going to take the card draw off of it. But Cavendish, you want to burn cards to save because that's just infinite value every time it swings.
Fair.
After that, it was just he was trying to establish Marco blockers. I was Atmosing and Jozuing his Marco blockers back to hand, and then by the time it got into Whitebeard turns where we're just going turn for turn on Whitebeards, the person that's dropping them first is going to be the person that wins the game.
Right.
After that, it's just a cool. One of us is at 0. Drop the Roger, win the game.
Okay.
Game 4. Game 4 was the hardest game of One Piece I've ever played. That was my Lucy matchup.
Yes.
Like I said previously, Lucy is in auto lose for Ace. It is supposed to be. We do not have much play into that deck. We have to hope that they low roll and we high roll. Your first Whitebeard will be gone as soon as you play it.
Yep.
The only reason why I won that matchup is time rules. So hey, time rules. Don't forget about them. I ran his deck completely out of removal. He used every Fire Fist, every barrier pistol. He used absolutely everything to clear my board every single turn. And he was afraid to take me to 0 because I could have Roger in hand. And if I have Roger in hand and he swings out and I manage to counter out, he just loses on the clapback.
Yep.
Even though he had the 4 blocker sabos established, he saw every good card in his deck. I just ran him out of resources. And once you have blockers established, it's really not hard to just keep getting out of 9K, 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 9K. We ended up taking it down to time. I won on deck count. So, yeah, it was probably the hardest game of One Piece I ever played.
Okay. And then final round.
After that, final round was GP. So there was a little bit of controversy in that round. My opponent answered his phone during the round, which, stuff happens. People don't realize it, but it is a bigger tournament. I didn't mind. It's okay. I felt like I was in control of the matchup the whole game. Okay. I know it was close. I did counter out at the end. I had exact counter to get out. I still had leader effect available. But I did end up winning that one. GP is a very tough deck. It's definitely one of the best decks in the format. He didn't manage to play his full big combo. He never saw an SEC. If he would have seen the SEC Luffy, that could have changed the game significantly. Okay. Because that card's obviously just going to swing 4 times. 3 times. 3, yeah. 3 times. Because he's got the Brook on the field.
Yep.
And he established the Brook, attached on to Sanji Pudding. I countered out of everything, and then he had the one final activate main on Brook to swing the Sanji Pudding again. Obviously, he had to go for game at that point. He only had, I want to say, 4 cards in hand, 1 life. Seeing his hand at the end of the game, he didn't really have anything to get out of me on the clapback, so he had to go for game on that turn. Mm-hmm. He did everything good he could to win. He played well. And I just managed to, last life was a 2K. Didn't even need to use leader effect. He swung 10. I countered out with 11. Came back to my turn. My opponent knew he had nothing, and he scooped. So that was final round.
Pricing for the event, how did that go?
Pricing for the event was great. Everybody got their packs. I got the Sword Championship winner, the Crocodile, and the finalist pack. So pricing was great. I think everybody got, we got 6 packs.
It was 5 or 6.
5 or 6 packs.
Yeah.
Everybody that stayed and didn't drop after their round 1 losses.
Hey, some of us had to.
Unfortunately, some of my opponents dropped, so I had to win out. There was no chance of me going 4-1
That's true.
And maybe squeaking in with a 2nd place. I had to win out. Luckily, I did. So, and then obviously the ultimate prize, besides the cards, was getting the invite to Nationals.
Yes.
So now I secured my invite to Nationals. I'll be able to represent the shop, Treasure Coast Magic, at Nationals, which is going to be a great time. Big One Piece tournaments are always a great time.
Yes. So we already know 4 Nats. We should see 16.
Yeah, so 16 is going to come out before Nats. The whole meta is going to change. So the meta is going to stay the same as it is right now, all the way through regionals.
Yep.
And through regionals, we're still going to see Enel, Nami,
Ace.
GP, Ace.
Red Green Luffy.
Red Green Luffy's coming
Nami.
up. So that's pretty much, realistically, there's 2 decks. It's Enel and Nami.
Yep.
And then after that's kind of everything else in like a tier 2 bracket. Yep. And it's just what flavor of One Piece do you want to play?
And do they have good matchups into one or both of those decks?
Yeah, Ace obviously has a terrible matchup into Lucy. People are still going to be on Lucy. Ace has a bad matchup into Mihawk, which there's a lot less people coping on Mihawk now, so you're not going to see as many. But it's still a green deck that runs Luna, and it can still win games. It's got a solid matchup into GP. It's got an amazing matchup into Nami. It has a unfavorable matchup into Enel, but you can still win depending on the pilot.
Yep.
So Ace still definitely has a lot of play. I'll most likely be playing Ace for regionals. But there are a few other decks that are creeping up. Black Crocs won a lot of events.
Yep.
That's definitely been a deck that not necessarily came out of nowhere. It was pretty good last meta. It just didn't have play into Emu.
Yep.
But now that Emu's gone, you're kind of seeing what Black Croc can do, and I think that deck is going to be kind of scary moving forward.
Okay.
But and then obviously for Nationals, it's going to be a completely different meta. 16 is going to be released. It looks like Black Yellow Teach on paper is going to be a very strong deck.
Yep.
Every card that they reveal moving forward has been very strong. So we'll see what that deck looks like too. Sengoku's going to be bait though. I think Sengoku's going to be bait. That deck's not going to be good.
So is the ace deck.
Yeah, the ace deck's bait too. Yeah, the ace deck's not going to be good. But they can't print good ace cards because then they'll just go right into red blue ace, and red blue ace will just continue dominating the meta.
Correct. So my hot take, it's going to be Yamato.
Ooh, Yamato. That could be. It could be. I think it's going to be kind of like the Emu set, where everybody said that Emu was going to be the broken deck, and it was the broken deck. It pushed a lot of decks out of the format. I think Blackbeard in the next set's probably going to be the broken deck that warps the format.
Yep.
Depending on what its matchup into Anel looks like once we see the rest of the cards. Anel's definitely going to be a deck that sticks around.
Yep.
It's the only aggro deck in the meta right now that's relevant, which, unfortunately for me, I don't really like playing Anel, but I love playing aggro. So it's definitely not Red Zoro. Yeah, Anel's gonna be sticking around for a long time, and it's kind of got that aggro while also being one of the best control decks in the format.
So like mid-range tempo?
Yeah. I guess if you wanted to put a label on it, it's like a mid-range tempo deck that just starts popping off immediately. It's crazy.
Yeah.
With very little counterplay to it. Unless you're Nami and you just are a 7k leader every turn.
Yes.
Then you have counterplay into it.
Yes. All right. So before we wrap it up, any shout outs you want to give? Any final words you want to say?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to TCM, of course, Treasure Coast Magic. This is where I play. This is where I always play. I just rep the shop all the time. I don't do a ton of traveling. I don't like to go out to a lot of the other shops around. I just play here. This is home. This is where I play. I want to give a shout out to TCM the Visionary, and all my other playtest partners, Andre, Yano, Ant, James, everybody. We work real hard to try and compete every meta, and this meta, we're being pretty competitive. So
yeah, it might be our meta.
It could be our meta. R.I.P. Bonnie. She's not in the meta anymore, unfortunately.
Nope. I'm sorry, Eric. I tried, but Bonnie can't be it.
Yeah.
So on that note. Preparation before Store Championship, because somebody asked me to ask you this question.
Preparation before Store Championship. So I actually did not play a game of One Piece for over a month until I walked in the door for Store Championship. I strictly just played WoW and grinded out my Mythic Plus rating, and walked in that day completely cold. I played one game against Andre, who completely stomped me into the ground. And after that, I said, "Okay, cool, I'm ready. We'll get this tournament going and see how I do." But that's One Piece. It's a game of 1K counter power either way, and sometimes it's your day, and sometimes it's not your day. Even the best players in the world have a bad day, and they go 1-4.
Correct. Well, on that note, TCM the Visionary signing off. You guys have a wonderful day, and stay tuned for more thrilling content.
Tough.